Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today in this video we're going to be drafting the pattern for this basic female trouser. So if you're interested in that, please keep on watching and let's get started. So first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to draw a straight line across to serve as the side of our trouser. So now I'm going to take this top as the waistline, and what I'm going to do is to extend my tape by 1.5 inches because I want to have a 1.5 inch band. So from this top here I came down to 8 inches, which is my hip line. So you're going to measure from your waist down to your hip to get your hip line. So after that I'm going to still extend my tape, and then I came down to 11 inches here, which is my crouch measurement. And you can see in the picture right here how you can get your own crouch measurement. Now to get our tie line, I am coming down from the crouch line by 4 inches. So come down by 4 inches from your crotch measurement and just label this the tie line. So this is our tie line. Now still taking note of the 1.5 inch I'm leaving at the top, I came down to 20 inches, which is my knee line, and I'm just going to also draw this line across. This is the knee line. And then lastly, still taking note of the 1.5 inch, I'm going to mark the full length of this trouser. I'm sorry that that part of the pattern paper is not showing, but the full length of my trouser is actually 38 inches. So that's the exact length of the pattern paper. So that was just perfect. So after doing that, now on the hip line, as you can see, I'm marking my hip measurement divided by 4 and an added extra 1 inch for ease. So I marked that on the hip line, on the crouch line, and I'm also going to mark it on the waistline. So I'm going to just go ahead and join these 3 points together with my ruler. Next, you're going to take the measurement in between this point here, just where you see me taking the measurement around, and we're going to divide the measurement we have here by 4. So I'm just basically doing this on my tape rule like this. So now I'm going to extend my tape from that point out. So this is going to give us that crouch depth that we're going to have. So after that, from the middle of my crouch, I'm going to come out by 1 inch. Can you see what I just did? So I'm just going to connect these 3 points now into the hip line to give me my crouch curve. Now to get our waist measurement, I'm going to take my measurements now from this crouch line here. So I'm going to mark towards the side. So I divided my waist measurement by 4 and marked it here. Then I added 1 inch extra for stitching allowance, and then another 1 inch for my dart intake. So after marking those points, I'm just going to join the last point into the hip line, just like I just did. So after doing that, the next thing you're going to do is to come to this crouch line, and you're going to take the measurement from the side down to the end of the crouch. And what I just did was to divide that measurement by 2. So I divided it by 2 and I marked it on the crouch line, and I'm also going to repeat that measurement on the waistline and also on the tie line. You can see I'm taking it from the side on the knee line, and also I will do the same thing on the end of the pants. So this basically means that I'm dividing this trouser into 2 equal halves. So this line here is going to be the middle of my trouser. I hope you understand. So guys, after getting this middle line, which is our green line, now I'm going to mark all my measurements from the middle of this line. So whatever measurement I have, I will divide it from the middle of the line. So now on the tie line, my tie measurement divided by 2. So my tie measurement is 21. That divided by 2 is about 10.5. So I will divide 10.5 by 2 again to get the middle. So the middle of that, I'll place it in the middle of this line. Can you see? So I'm going to now separate here and then mark it here 10.5 as well. So I divided that measurement from the middle. So now the knee line, I'm also going to divide my knee measurement by 2 and then divide it again and share that measurement from the middle. So that is 8 inches. So I'm going to mark 4 on both sides. I hope you understand. And then on the end of the trouser, my ankle measurement is going to be 7.5 and half of that is 3.5. So I'll share 3.5 to both sides of the line. I actually hope that you guys understand this thing that I'm just trying to explain. So after doing that, what I'm just basically going to do is to join these points all the way around with my curve through. Just look at how I'm joining the points together. So guys, after doing that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to mark my dart. So first thing I went ahead to do is to come down from this middle line by 4 inches, still leaving that 1.5 inch band we have at the top. So after that, I'm going to just go in and out on both sides by 1/2 inch, just like we always do, and then I'm going to connect it together. So guys, our dart is ready and it's time to just work on our zipper fly, which is actually very easy. So I'm just going to basically come out from this line here by 2 inches, and I'll just come down a little bit and mark another 2 inches. So I'm just going to make a straight line to meet the hip line like this, and after doing that, I'll just use my curved rule to just curve the other part into the crouch line. So that is basically it for the fly zipper, and that's basically almost all for the cutting of this front pattern. So now I'm just going to go ahead and cut everything out. So now the next thing I want to do is to go ahead and cut out my pocket. So what I want to do is to go in from this waistline by 2 inch. Can you see? And then on the side you come down by 6 inches. So now the shape you want for your pocket totally differ. So you can just go straight like this and just mark a slant line. That is totally fine. But I decided I wanted it to have like a curve. So I'm using my curved rule to mark this out. So this is how my pocket is going to look. So I'm going to be using this front pattern to cut out the back. So that's why I'm cutting a little bit away from this fly zipper so that it can easily be folded in, so that I'll be able to use this pattern to cut out the back. So now, as you can see, I've folded in the fly zipper for the purpose of the cutting of the back. Can you see? So I just folded it in because we don't need the fly zipper for the back. So I'm just placing this front pattern on the back piece, leaving some space up here and on this side. So we're going to go ahead now and start taking our measurements for the back. So guys, from this crotch line here, I'm going to come out by 2 inches from the front pattern. So I'm going to mark it here. If you're on a bigger size, you can go ahead and mark about 3 to 3.5 inches out. So I'm going to also come out on this hip line and mark that 2 inches as well. And then from this gray line, this middle line we got earlier, I'm going to take a measurement towards the front, towards the crotch area. I hope you understand. From the crotch to this middle line here, and I'm going to divide the measurement I have there. So once I divide it, I'm going to mark the point here, and from this new point, I'll go up by 2 inches. Can you see? So I'll go up by 2 inches. And now to get the crouch for the back, I'm just going to go ahead and remove this front pattern and just join these 3 points together with a curve. Now the curve might not be as curvy as it is in front. It's totally fine. It's actually totally fine. So this is how it looks when you draw out this curve like this. So this is totally fine. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to measure out the waist I have in front, and it's 8 inches. Now you know we have to ensure that our waist at the back as well is 8 inches. So I just measured from the new back line to get an 8-inch measurement for the waist, and it is slanted. Can you see? And it ended just where the front line ended. So after that, next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to add 1 inch to all my measurements. So all the lines that I had before, I'm adding 1 inch around, and then I will just connect the waistline I have now with the 1 inch measurement I did around the front pattern. So I'll just go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. Add 1 inch away from the front pattern, and then just connect all the points all the way to the end. So this is what I have. Now when you remove the front pattern, this is it for the back. This is what we have for the back. Now for the back, we're going to mark where we want our dart to be, because there's a dart in front as well. So I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple measurement here, and then I'm going to take note of the band we have up there, just like I did in front, and I'm going to mark a straight line, you can see, and then I'll go in and out from this straight line by 1/2 inch, just like I always do when I'm marking my dart, and I'm just going to connect the points. So this is basically all for the back pattern. I'm just going to go ahead now and cut this out.
But even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change.
So guys, this is the back pattern. It's ready, and this right here is the front. So you can see our fly zipper is still here. So now the next thing I want to go ahead and do is on this front pattern. Now we can go ahead and cut out this pocket area, so that we'll be able to cut the pocket actually on another piece of pattern paper. So I'm placing the pocket area of this trouser on another piece of pattern paper, just like you see me doing like this, and I'm just going ahead to trace out the curve and everything right here on the side. So after doing that, I'm just folding in this paper like this, because I'm trying to get the pocket. So from the top here, we're going to come down to about 10 inches, and on this side I would advise that you use 7 inches. Mine right now is 8 inches, and I figured that after I was done it was a little bit too wide. So I'm just going to cut this place, which is the 10 inches, and I'm going to now just cut the other part. But before I finish cutting it, I just want to place the actual trouser back and arrange everything in place with the pocket. And on this waistline, I'm going to mark my waist measurement that we had before. It was 8 inches, so I'm marking it on the pocket so that I can go ahead and curve the waistline into that 8 inches, so that it's exactly the same waistline that we had before. So this is it for the pocket. I'm going to go ahead and make a curve around here later, but we'll do that when I'm cutting on the actual fabric. So this is the pocket. And lastly, the last thing I'm going to go ahead and do now after all these patterns is to go ahead and cut out my band. So the length of my band is 2 inches right now, because I'm going to use 1/2 inch for stitching allowance. And then for the round waist of my band, my waist is 24 inches, so I have an extra about 2 inches here, because this band is going to have like an overlapping in front. So for me, my waist is 24 inches, and right now this is cut out with 26 inches. So that's it for the band. So these are all the patterns we'll be needing to make this trouser. I went ahead to cut this out on my actual fabric, and after I was done, this is how my trouser came out. Very nice. So if you want to see the sewing part of this, you definitely want to subscribe and watch out for my next video.